Banlist time. Yep, so with the upcoming ban lists approaching, granted we don't know when it's coming out because they were really specific. And I'm just going to give my predictions, what I think could happen, what I think will happen, some of the opinions I see that I'm just like, no, that's not going to happen. And without further ado, let's just get right into it. So first off, what do I think is getting banned? Well, there is one card I can say for confidence. I'm pretty sure it's getting banned, and that is Artifact Scythe. Yeah, Scythe has to go. I don't know how to avoid the last list, but I guess maybe because it's getting put in the structure deck. But it didn't really need a structure deck reprint. Wasn't really worth it. And Scythe just not being able to allow you to special summon from the extra deck it's cancerous. And we don't need any cards like that in Yu-Gi-Oh! We already got enough. And considering it is so easy to do now with Dagda and DP, Scythe's just become way too much of a problem. Some people say Dagda, but Dagda's not the problem. Scythe is. Because even if you don't have Dagda, you can just throw in 3 Scythe, and then if you draw the Scythe, well, you're putting up that Scythe lock anyways. So, Artifact Scythe has to go. Next is Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew. Well, personally, I don't want it to get banned. I'd rather a limitation to the field spell happen. I feel like that's just the direction they're going to go. Because with Meow Meow Mew, Prank Kids is essentially a 1-card starter. And if you get rid of Meow Meow Mew, it would essentially be a 2-card starter. It will make the deck a whole lot weaker, and it will definitely push it out of basically tier 1 status. And I feel like that's just going to be the card that's going to get hit. Well, personally, I don't want it to get banned. I feel like it's going to. Next, I can't decide on 2 cards, so I'm putting them both here. Mist Valley Apex Avion and Barry Statue of the Stormwinds. The main reason I'm putting both of them here because I feel like a Floowandereeze hit is very likely, and it's very hard to hit Floowandereeze indirectly, except for these 2 cards, because it is a pure deck. Like, you're not playing a whole bunch of extra cards to make Floowandereeze good. In fact, the boss monster is an in-archetype card, which, let's face it, they're not going to hit. Well, personally, I don't think we should get rid of Barrier Statue. Stormwinds, well, it's an annoying card, for sure. But that will essentially take Floowandereeze out of tier 1, or tier 1, 1.5, whatever. It won't be one of the best decks anymore. It won't really even be that. It'll just be a rogue deck at best. Which, considering the shape of the format, I don't want anything other than Despia to get hit. And that's me personally. Because it will essentially make Despia borderline tier 0 deck. Because if Floowandereeze gets hit, if Sword Soul gets hit, if Prank Kids gets hit, what else is there? Despia will reign supreme. And I don't want that. But if we ban something like Apex Avion, it'll be a hit to Floowandereeze, but it's not going to be something that will really take it out of the top spot. They'll just find a different card that's maybe not as powerful, but they could probably throw in something like the Earthbound Immortal Winged Beast. That's really all I think is going to get banned. I don't really think a lot can get banned. Like a lot of things that people are saying, should it get banned? Is it likely to get banned? No. One card that I really hate that I'm saying this, Predaplant Verte Anaconda, I don't think it's getting banned. Because it works well with Despia. Despia just came out, and we know how they don't like to hit stuff that just came out. Well, I am praying that I am wrong, because Verte does need to go. We don't need it in the format any longer. It's too much of a toxic card. But also, new Predaplant support is coming, so look forward to dealing with that for another 3 or 4 months. Another card that some people are saying should get banned, the obvious one, Mystic Mine, it's not getting banned. And if you say, oh, we should ban Dragoon or Phoenix Enforcer, I remember when people were saying, like, everyone was saying that Dragoon is going to get banned, and then I'm just like, ha! It's a $100 card. They ain't touching it. And, well, look, I was right. Now moving on to the limited section. There are 3 cards that I think are going to get limited. First one, Fusion Destiny. If Verte is not going to get hit, you gotta do something. And they're the only other hit. You may ban Dasher, ban Celestial, but that's not really going to do much. However, if you limit Fusion Destiny to 1, then they're essentially going to have to use Verte unless they hard draw it, which is going to be very, very unlikely. Then again, people always seem to draw those janky one-ofs. Yeah, since I don't think Verte is going to get banned, I feel like this will get limited to 1. Next is Nadir's Servant. Kind of same situation as Fusion Destiny. It was put to 2 to kind of like curb the power a little, but I think we need to do it a little bit more and put it to 1. Just as like a bit of a precaution for Despia and Dogmatica. I guess it'll be like an indirect hit to Despia in a way. Invoked, Shadal, whatever. I think it's likely that it will go to 1. Next, we gotta do something about Eldritch. And I have limiting Scarlet Sanguine to 1. Not only will it essentially summon your Golden Lord from the deck, you can also use it to set the Golden Land spell trap directly from your deck. It's really good, and you know, Eldritch has to be hit in some way because it is everywhere, and we don't need a trap focused deck as one of the best decks of the format. Especially one that plays there can be only one, skill drain, summon limit, all those annoying floodgates. Yeah, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. That sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? And I do think it is time for it to get hit a little bit. Now next, I have 2 cards that I think are going to be unbanned. First one, Harpor. Why hasn't it come back yet? Orcus is doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. 3 to 1. Oh, bring it to 3. It still won't be that great. The game has just evolved past Orcus. Now next, a bit of a controversial one. This is one that I'm not really too confident in, and that is Masterpiece. I feel like they're going to make like some sort of, like, I feel like they're going to unban a big card. I'm trying to think of like, what's a big card that they can unban. I thought of Masterpiece. This one's a little bit more of a reach because can Masterpiece be unbanned? Yeah. I'd say yes with the question mark. It could end up being okay, but it could end up not being okay. And yes, I did just talk about Floodgates. And True Draco would play all the cards I have just mentioned. But the one thing with True Draco, it's not splashable like Eldritch. Like we got Eldritch Despia, Cyrus Eldritch, Eldritch this, Eldritch that. You're not going to see that with True Draco. Now, there may, if they do bring this back, there might also hit something to kind of bring it back, like maybe a limit of the Maiden or banning of Dragonic Diagram. But I'm not really too confident in Masterpiece coming back. This is one of my, more or less one of my reaches. Now we move on to the semi-limits. First up, Seika's Light. Spells are very prevalent, and I feel like Seika's Light could easily come back. Like, I don't really know what deck would play it. Maybe Dragon Link, but you know, they're still going on stuff like Droplets, Dark Ruler, Cross Out, Called By. Maybe I don't know if they run Prosperity or something like that. Maybe Desires, Triple Tactics. So I feel like Seika's Light could come back, no problem. Next is Infernity Archfiend. Come on, bring it back. Really? Like, this is a card that I just really want back because Infernities, it's a pretty fun deck, a very kind of unique and interesting deck to play, but it still has 2 cards limited. Launcher, I can understand that staying limited, but Archfiend can come back to 3, and I think it'd be just fine, but I feel like they'd move it to 2. That's kind of like Test the Waters, because it does like a once per turn, like most of the cards in that deck. And what better way to help sell Ghosts from the Past than, I don't know, bring it back and maybe trying to sell the Infernity cards that are being released in that set. Look, I'm trying to go for something here. Next, Servant of Endymion. I feel like that might be... They're going to try to release some more Pendulum support for the upcoming Pendulum cards, and I feel like Servant of the Endymion is a good way to do that. Like, some people might say Electromite, but they are literally making an Electromite replacement. Electromite ain't coming back. Sorry, that's just how it is. Next is another split between two cards, and that is moving either Mirage Stallion or Gazelle from one copy to two copies. I really don't know which they would go. I feel like it's going to be one or the other. They could go Gazelle, they could go Mirage Stallion. Mirage Stallion usually only gets played around like maybe one or two, so it could easily just go back to three. Gazelle, a little bit more iffy, but even if you were to put Salamangreats at full power, I still don't think that would be like a tier 1 deck. It might be like a tier 2 roguish deck. It's kind of like in the roguish, everything else kind of category right now. And this will definitely give that deck a pretty significant boost. Next, please, Called by the Grave to 2. Even better yet, 3. This format has just not really been fun to play. Because you can't play. Because every deck runs like 20 hand traps. Something has to be done. Like, Crossout is essentially a mandatory in every single deck now, just because hand traps are becoming way too prevalent. Like, we need Called by the Grave to 2 just to kind of like help rein them in. Like, you know, well, some people are like, oh yeah, it's combo decks to continue their plays. It's not just combo decks that play hand traps, actually. Combo decks don't really play much hand traps. It's stuff like Sky Strikers, Flunderies, Live Twins, decks that play more of a control style and have a bunch of free space. Now for the cards I think are coming completely off the list. First off, Scapegoat. Not really that great in modern standards. Like, if you want to play Scapegoat to go in Access Code, talk on turn 3, go for it. It's not really going to be that great. It'd be like a nice tech card, if anything, but I think it can come back to 3, no problem. Next, Salamangreat Circle to 3. 1 to 2, it's going to 3. That's how it goes. Same with the next card, A Hero Lives. Usually when they kind of like try moving off the list, it's more so to test the waters, and Salamangreats and Heroes, they're around the roguish kind of area, and moving these cards to 3 isn't really going to change much. And lastly, Trickstar Light Stage. Why is it still limited? I really don't understand. It's just a good card. Is it doing anything unfair? No. Is it part of any loops or FTKs? Nope. Is it good going first for anything other than Trickstars? No. When was the last time Trickstars topped an event? I don't know, 3 years ago? Bring it back to 3. It's not doing anything. And if you're worried about it being played in, I don't know, True Draco, Orchest, let them. Those decks aren't doing anything anyways. And that's going to be it for my Banlist predictions. Let me know, what do you think? Are there any other cards that you think should get hit? Anything that you think should come back? And don't say you think Max Seed can come back to 3, because no, it cannot. And I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.